You're listening to Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official podcast of Lingerie Fighting Championships. And now, here's your host, Michael Larkin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me today is pro wrestler, and what amazing pro wrestler is in such a short period of time, about a year or two in the game, doing her thing on the independent wrestling scene, Northeast Rochester, to be exact, baby. I'm talking about Laylah James. How are you, Laylah?
Woo! Hey, I'm great. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm good. First and foremost, so folks, for those that do know, like I grew up Long Island, New York, folks. So you talk about the New York wrestling connection, you talk about Creative Pro Wrestling, Wrestle Pro, Jersey All Pro Wrestling, NWA Cyberspace, all in the vicinity. I gotta say, from a fellow Long Islander, fellow New Yorker, if you will, the New Yorkers that we are, loving seeing you doing your thing in upstate pro wrestling, hometown, Rochester, New York, that you do. It's another prime example of why New York and the Northeast is one of the hotbeds for the independent wrestling scene. Got to give you kudos.
Yeah, thank you.
You are so welcome. So let's start it off right here before we get into some LFC talk. You have been doing your thing in professional wrestling. I've seen you giving power slams, that dose of Laylah, if you will. Nice little power slam action. Got to give you points for that clip there because I love the fact that it's the simple simplicities of just one big old power slam. We've seen it with Ron Simmons. We've seen it with Vader. We've seen it with the late, great Road Warrior Animal. For you, Laylah James, what kind of got you into the world of professional wrestling? It's amazing art. It's amazing craft, but god dang it, there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into it. How'd you get into professional wrestling?
So, I've always been a wrestling fan growing up as a kid. I was very extremely inspired by, China, Jacqueline, Ivory, the old school divas back then. So I was really inspired by them, and I was so young at the time. I always like just visioned myself being a wrestler, but I didn't really know how to come about it. Back then they had this thing called Tough Enough, and I thought that was the only way that you could become a wrestler. And so as I got older, I did some research and I was, Googling like wrestling schools, and I discovered a place here in Rochester, and they have a wrestling school here, Upstate Professional Wrestling, and I had been training. So and I love it. So when I first started, I was like really nervous. I was scared because um I was like getting some like weird eyes at me and people were looking at me weird. So it kind of made me feel uncomfortable, and then it made me not want to do it anymore. So I stopped, and then like years went on, and like every year I just kept telling myself, I gotta stop caring what people think. I just gotta do it. I just gotta do it. I just gotta do it. And it took me about like a good like 7 years to actually like snap out of it and just say, this is what I really want to do. I shouldn't care if people laugh or look at me crazy. I'm just gonna do it. And I did. And so I've been in it for 2 years now, and I'm actually I feel like I'm actually doing pretty good for 2 years in. The first year was a little bit, rough. I didn't think I was gonna get any opportunities. Um, but my second year in, and I'm actually, I'm loving it. I'm doing great.
I gotta say, first and foremost, for those who have not seen Laylah on the Instagram or even check out her YouTube, man, you have a lot of great promos. You really have that great gravitational pull for promos and really show these subtleties, intricacies, and nuances, as I like to say when it comes to professional wrestling. You're really amped up, and I think you bring a lot into the camera fold. And especially, I mean, we saw the news piece you put on Instagram. Y'all are doing your thing for a good cause at the mall. Kind of reminds me of the old WCW Mall of America, the old school Nitro, if you will.
Yeah.
Performing in front of a mall, like we've seen so many music acts done it. For instance, Tiffany with I Think We're Alone Now from back in the 80s. Like, how is that for you doing something that's such for a good cause, but you're also in a mall, like in front of many people just walking through and hey, what's this wrestling over here? What was that experience like for you?
You know, um, it actually was really great. It felt good to be able to do something. That day we actually were raising for a family. Their house got set on fire, so we were basically trying to raise money to be able to help donate for them. And it was a great experience. Mall matches are always so fun because it's like not only do you get people that actually come and watch wrestling, you also get people that are just, shopping, doing their thing, and they, happen to just join in. So it's always so fun because it's always like such a great crowd, and it's exciting.
Well, I think that's the operative word here when it comes to professional wrestling. Like you talked about, having that worry, then bada bing, bada boom, 7 years later, you go right into it. I think the worrisome is there for anybody, when it comes to professional wrestling, because people think like, it's like all soft and pillows and you fall on this mat. No, it's a hard dog on ring. Have you ever taken a bump? Have you ever been in there? A lot of people don't realize the sacrifice into it. And I think for some of your influences, we look at China, ninth wonder of the world, former Intercontinental Champion, a woman who made history, becoming one of the first women in the Royal Rumble matchup. Her stuff with DX, and Jacqueline, Miss Texas, one of the baddest doggone DDTs I've seen, really did her thing in the women's division. I think you have a great, list of influences, especially with Ivory, with Glow and her there. And Tough Enough, I got to say, a lot of people always poo-pooed on the Tough Enough just because it's like, oh God, we go to wrestling school and stuff, but then here's this reality show. From what I take from it, and I look at it from a stance with you, there's so many people that came from it, like John Morrison, like The Miz, and so many people onward, that it's a great experience and a learning experience for those who not just want to get into it. It's like, okay, you won this, but now here we go to the performance center. Here we go to here. So you're constantly learning. And I think that's what's the most important thing about wrestling. You never stop learning.
Yeah, exactly. I every time I'm in the ring, I'm always learning. I feel like I'm just getting better each time. It's really it's great. I was really scared to be able to. I came from being so scared to like take certain bumps or like doing flip bumps to like now it's just like easy to me. It's like a piece of cake.
And I think what's great about it too is as well, like what I love about the Northeast, and I'm going to put up Rochester here because shout out to Rochester, gave us the one and only, God rest his soul, Brody Lee, aka Luke Harper. I think what's great about it too is the upstate New York wrestling scene really does bring in a lot of hot commodities, and I include you in those sentiments as well. And I think it's one of the things, you're welcome. It's the prime example of just, we talk about the Northeast, but you have done your thing over there. I've seen you do a lot of work with Megan Myers. I've seen you do some work over here and there, like Paris Vandell. I know you got a match coming up with Battle of Athena. She's been on AEW Dark. She's done her thing on the Northeast.
I know. I'm so excited.
Right? Like she just did her thing for Capital Championship Wrestling against Kaya McKenna at the Monster Factory. I wanted to ask you about going into this with Paris Vandell because she's another one on the rise.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It excites me because Megan Myers, when I wrestled her, I know she's been on AEW several times, and it kind of makes me feel like, okay, well, if I can wrestle with people that have actually been like on AEW on television and I'm successful with it, it just lets me know, okay, well, I have the ability to do it as well, like be on, AEW. And it's exciting because Megan told me like how much she enjoyed wrestling me and how it was so fun and how she thought I was so good. And so I'm really excited to wrestle Paris. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I love the excitement. And what I also love about it too as well, for those who have not seen the footage on Miss Laylah James's Instagram here, man, you got a nice little lockup with the wrist lock. Just, it's the chain wrestling, if you will. You have a nice little combo coming that you really took to it, like kind of like a like just really just the fluidity is the best way I can describe it. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
a crisp hook to it there, Laylah.
Well, thank you so much.
It's noticeable, and it definitely shows within your work. And I mean, for you being such a dominant presence that you are, being one of the many talents in the women's division going onward and upward, I think it shows like what we have for the future of the talents that we have. And especially like we mentioned AEW, we mentioned WWE Impact. There's so much wrestling out there. Like, for God's sake, wrestling's on 6 days a week for right now. It's so nuts.
Exactly. Yeah. Wrestling has really come a long way.
It has. And I think for you, not only do you do your thing in the wrestling world, but let's talk about celebrity boxing here. Brady Bunch, non-binary ninja. I saw the footage. I saw the fight. You got some mean strikes. You got some mean kicks. You really go in there. For those who've not seen the fight, it's really good. How did celebrity boxing fall into your lap here, man?
So it was actually very like random, but it was exciting. So basically, Brady, the non-binary ninja, she had been always looking for an opponent, another trans fighter. Just in case if no one didn't know, I am trans. But she was actually looking for a fighter to compete with, and it was difficult for her to find another trans fighter. So I think from her first fight, she actually had fought um, a guy. I'm trying to remember his name. I can't remember his name. Mike, I think it was Mike or like something like that. But my cousin, who actually is the owner of the gym that I go to, Team Lift Fitness, he actually is connected with celebrity boxing. So he actually told me, he was just like, hey, there's this fighter, Brady, they're looking for a trans fighter. Um, are you interested? And I was just like, at first I was just like, I'm not really a boxer. I don't really know. I don't want to get my face hit. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try. I mean, why not? So I told them I was interested, and basically it just happened. It just picked up just like that.
I think what was great about it too is as well, first and foremost, you both held your own. And I'm a fan. I'll be honest, I watched boxing when I was a kid. My grandfather, God rest his soul, used to put me on his lap and we would watch the fights together. It was one of those things too, like another combative nature of sport. And all it kind of like flows together because you see people from the boxing world, the MMA world, the wrestling world, everything kind of intertwines now of everybody getting into the similar industries. I think that's wonderful to show the fluidity and the overall cohesion that is. And like you mentioned, I'm going to say this right now, and it doesn't matter, male, female, trans, what have you, you are still kicking ass and taking names. I think that's what also takes here with LFC here. It's equality based. And I mean, you look at AEW with Nyla Rose, the native beast. I think so many great talents, no matter size, color, gender, what have you. It's an amazing world and time, like we mentioned again, in professional wrestling, because we get to see so many different athletes, shape, sizes, what have you. It's an amazing time for the equality, but also at the same time, man, you're really standing up and showing out for who you are, and you're just staying true to yourself. And I think that's very admirable.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Um, it honestly, like, the wrestling community is like the most supportive community that I've ever been a part of, honestly. Like every time I always it just like whatever city I go to, everyone is always so welcoming, they're so friendly, they're like family. I've made so many great friendships. I became friends with people that I never would think I would be friends with. And it's amazing. I just love it. I've never experienced anyone ever you know, being negative towards me or being disrespectful about me being trans. Everyone is just very accepting, and I really like that.
I think what's great about it too is as well, and I kind of equate like when intergender wrestling became very big, like we see in AAA in Mexico, or we see in Lucha, or we see in many wrestling promotions that are really showcasing intergender wrestling. It was always known as in the 80s, we think about the late great Andy Kaufman being the intergender champion of the world. Kind of has that comedy vibe to it. But once we got into the 90s and 2000s, you also looked at it from a stance as well. Like a lot of these girls trains with these guys. So like, what's the big deal? But also at the same time with the wrestling community, I think when you have athletes like Sonny Kiss doing his thing, and you have Darren Young who came out in the WWE, who's now doing his thing in New Japan Strong, I think in a way it's just like, okay, because at the end of the day, you're still working with that person, you're giving your body to that person, and it should not matter the sexual orientation, what have you. If you're going to go out there and do business with somebody, make some money, tell that story, that's what you're doing
Yeah.
at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I think that really does shine through within the wrestling community.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, for
And
sure.
And for LFC wise, folks, let me tell you something here, because this one right here, I'm talking to you, Miss Layla James, has done a lot.
Ah!
Okay, we got to put this out here because not only are you doing the wrestling world, you're looking to get to the LFC world here because you
I,
sent an amazing message to the Instagram, which folks, fights underscore LFC. You have a vested interest in this, the gravitational pull towards LFC. How did you come about this here? Because social media, when you look at LFC, and I'll put it to you like this, people look at it like, wait a minute, that's actually a thing. Yes, people, it's lingerie fighting championships. It's looking good, looking sexy, but kicking ass at the same time. What kind of gravitated you towards the LFC realm?
well, I've always been, so the thing is like, I've always been an athlete. I've always been into sports, and I've always been the person that always likes to try something new and take on a challenge. That's just how I've always been. And which is why, like the boxing thing, I did that, and the wrestling. But I feel so bad forgetting her name. But the one that just you recently just posted,
Oh,
that
Lauren the Animal Vogel?
the one
Block.
that was modeling her new lingerie that
Oh,
was
I'm sorry. Bella Madison.
Yes. So I came across her page, and that's how I found you guys. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I remember seeing her on this episode of I think it was um True Story or something like that. One of those like little reality shows on Snapchat that I seen. And I seen that she was telling her story about being a wrestler, and that's how I recognized her when I seen her on Instagram. And then that's how I found you guys. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. I did not know that they were doing something like that. And lingerie and stuff is my kind of thing. I love showing skin. Um, which you would see that too also when I wrestle. A lot of my attire is very revealing. Um, I had to I actually had to like change up some of my looks because I always had this issue with a nip slip
Mhm.
because as you can see, I'm a busty girl. So every time I would wrestle, I'd always have a situation. But anyways, so I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. They're doing like a lingerie, like wrestling. And I was just like, this is perfect because I've already done a little bit of boxing. I wrestle. So I just thought, wow, this would be perfect to get involved in. So that's what made me want to do it.
All right. I'm going to say this first and foremost. We're going to talk about this with your revealingness and your style and profiling over here. First of all, we could tell you're looking good right now tonight. We got to put this over this ensemble, your style and profiling. You're looking good. Let's put this down
Thank
here.
you.
With this truth. And I mean, I'm going to put this out here right now. First and foremost, which we've seen in lingerie fighting championships, folks. Sometimes there may be a little nip slips. It happens. You know what I'm saying? It happens. But also at the same time, that's what really makes the product the voluptuosity factor and the external beauty that shows up and shines through. And Bella Madison is a great role model. Bella Madison started back in October 21 for LFC. And then boom, here we are now. And I think for you, I'm going to put this out right here, right now. For the lingerie side of things, I'm quite curious because a lot of these girls have different types of lingeries, from the leather and lace. Hey, we might add a little leather over here. We might do a little lace. We might do what have you. They get creative with the whole nine here. So, Laylah, James, I got to ask you, what's some of your favorite lingerie?
Yes. So I really like latexy things. As you can see, I'm kind of wearing something right now.
Mm-hmm.
I love nets. So I like wearing like net dresses, net things like that. And I love doing like little lingerie sets, like like cosplay things. Like I love dressing up as like a schoolgirl, like or a nurse, like little things like that. I love dressing up as well. So those are some of my favorite things.
So pretty much what she's going for here, folks. She's going for the Britney Spears "Baby One More Time" look, dressing like the schoolgirl, little pigtails up.
Yeah.
And then you get the nurse outfit. Just I get it. Okay, I'll make another equation here with the nurse and the whole doctor field. It's like Blink 182. What's my age again? And the whole Enema of the State album. The blonde and the nurse outfit. I'm putting that image back in people's heads. But yeah, I could appreciate that. I think a lot of people can realize that from the overall perspective and their preferences. I think that's wonderful. It's what really people can get into. And I think from this stance here, you look at lingerie fighting championships. You also look at the LFL, which is the lingerie football league, which it's like, how can you go wrong with some badass women looking good and taking names on the gridiron? So there's always been that similarity there. And I think a lot of people, it's so funny because they see the L, and I'm not talking about all-star, shape of the L on the forehead like we're Smash Mouth up in here, but it's something that people always are kind of trepidatious about with the L. And I'm like, if you get into it, and we'll talk about fitness here, because my God, woman, you're in the gym, you're doing your thing over here on the fitness side of things. Fitness goes into this. You know what I'm saying, folks? Like with anything in wrestling, you have to have the right conditioning, the right stretch. I had to put over the fitness here because I see you doing your thing in the gym, always grinding. The grind never stops.
Yes, exactly. That is one important thing, staying in shape, especially, being a girl that likes to be revealing. I want to be able to, look good in the ring, in and out, because, I mean, your image is really what's important. I mean, that's how, you get the bookings. That's how people want to see you. That's how you get your fans. The look is really one of the big things. So I really, take a lot of time into making sure that, I'm at least, dedicating an hour a day in the gym. Um, I do have my moments where, I don't really feel like doing it. I think that's normal for everyone. And I also have my moments where I eat naughty and be a little piggy, have some cookies and candy. But the most important thing, is just really staying, dedicated and committed. And, I come from a background as being a fitness instructor. And that started from, me just, I wasn't really happy with my weight. And, I ended up just working out and I was getting results and people were just like, oh my gosh, I really want to look like you. How did you get like that? How did you, lose your weight so fast? And that's what made me become an instructor because, I was just like, you know what? Why don't I help people? So I started doing classes, like these little free boot camp classes that I would do at a park. And I would invite everyone. I would post on Facebook, free class at 10 a.m. Everyone would come. I'd get so many people coming. And it was just so like, it made me feel so happy to be able to help people reach their fitness goals. And that's how I got into fitness. And then when the whole COVID thing happened, everything just, turned into a disaster. The gyms were shut down. I had no way of training people. So I actually fell off myself. And, I actually, took a huge break into the fitness thing. And I had a lot of mental things going on with my transition. It was like there was a whole bunch of stuff. So now I'm actually, getting back into the hang of things with, I'm actually been working out consistently and stuff. And I'm working on, being able to go back into training people again because it was something that I really enjoyed doing. And I still have people that always ask me, I would love for you to train me. But right now, I just want to make sure that I'm fully, dedicated for myself before I, help other people again. So yeah, sorry, I'm just rambling on. Just
It's a New York thing. It's what we do, folks. We ramble. No, I'm
yeah,
in the onset here. And first of all, cookies and candy. Hello. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta be a little picky and naughty with their stuff. I completely understand from that front. But no, I think that's wonderful. The fact that you really want to help people. And I think that's very transparent in today's society, not just from an internal and external standpoint, but you want to make sure that people look good. They feel good about their spells, uplifting the spirits, if you will. And COVID took a hit on a lot of people, man, for myself mentally and spiritually. You know what I'm saying? It's rough. I mean, when you're constantly inside, you got nothing to do. Like,
I know.
it's like, what are you going to do? And I mean, for your time, I'm going to say right now, you talk about going through the mental health and the transition, which I'm going to say right now, you look fabulous. I'll put that over and over again. You look great.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're very welcome. But no, that's the thing. You were going through a lot. And I think what's great about it with all of us, like us as people, we got through the other side. I mean, to where we are now in 2023. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, a lot of people were asking, like, LFC did LFC 30 Born to Be Wild in Sturgis in the summer of 2020. And people's like, God dang it, man, what are y'all doing going over to Sturgis during the pandemic? Why y'all going to South Dakota? Because if you really look at it, first of all, you take the safety into consideration here, make sure everything's safe. That's number one. But also number two, in that particular time period, do you want to keep putting smiles on people's faces? Like we talk about uplifting spirits. You need some event to distract you from what's going on. You need some entertainment, and what's better entertainment than LFC? So a lot of people kept going on. Look at the WWE and AEW. They did a lot of shows where there were not a lot of people there, very limited people. You got to keep going. You got to find something like really kind of go towards to just keep your sanity, so to speak,
Exactly.
And I got to say, besides the sanity and everything that goes into it, folks, the mindset is the swole is the goal, the size is the prize, it's gains a clock, motherfucker, let's go. To quote Robert Frank, there's so many bodybuilding inspirations out there and so much stuff to really get you into the mindset. And I got to say, I love what you're doing because I think there are a lot of people, especially nowadays, the confidence, body confidence goes into it, the positivity. It's all about having the right mindset and the right heart that goes into it. And we really see a lot of that with body confidence nowadays, no matter shape or size, what have you. Body confidence is so key in today's day and age.
Yes, exactly. I really think it's important for people to just you know, do what's best for them. I feel like it's not good to compare ourselves to other people that we see, because it's just too much. It's just too, stressful. I mean, I feel like that's what makes us unique, having our own look. So, I used to be kind of really insecure with myself because, me, a lot of women get judged for always lifting and being strong. And, with me being trans and lifting, it's kind of like, people would always like attack me for just, I guess, I don't know, I guess people think like, I guess trans, they don't really expect trans women to, like be in the gym lifting and things like that. So I get kind of looked at like differently. And I get called a man a lot and things like that, which I know a lot of cis women deal with it as well. But so I was like really like feeling like, okay, well, I don't want to work out anymore. I don't want to look strong because I don't want people to continue to call me a man and bully me and things like that. But I had to tell myself, you know what, that's what I like. I like feeling strong. I like being a strong woman, and that's what makes me unique. So I really think it's important for people to, just do what they want and just tell yourself that, you're your own person. That's what makes us special, you know.
Also, you got the strut too. For those who have not seen this one, just walking down the street over here. I mean, you put a lot of the slow motion snaps on. Oh, we got to put this over here because you got like that model. I do my little turn on the catwalk type of vibes when you're walking down. I mean, you look at Mandy Rose and what she just did, and over there in Miami, walking that catwalk, man. Like, look at someone like Mandy Rose who just goes out there and it's like, hey, I was in the WWE. Now I'm making money off my OnlyFans and I'm modeling. Look at me, all up in
I
here.
love Nancy.
And she's a fellow New Yorker, like both of us. So I mean, come
She's
on.
actually coming. She's actually coming over here, down to Rochester in September, I do believe. Yeah,
So
September.
okay. Well, but no, that's the thing with her too. I mean, you look at a woman like that and it's like, my God. And then you see like a lot of just people like we talk about body confidence. And it's so funny to me, like you just mentioned there, not wanting to lift weight, and maybe I should do this because you don't want to be bullied. And I'll be honest, I was bullied myself, as we all were. But I think at the end of the day, we look ourselves in the mirror and we keep on grinding and doing what we love. Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it's all about me, myself, and I, so to speak. But also at the same time, it was so funny that you brought that up because I remember as a kid, and I think you could tell by talking to me, and for folks that listen to this, I'm non-judgmental. Whatever you want to do it, be happy. And waiting is another like a beautiful spirit thing that really goes into one's core. Like when you're a guy, you know what I'm saying? You see women especially that get into the muscular vibes. The term that would be thrown around would be mannish, which is horrible because if a woman wants to go in there, much like a China, much like so many different women that just want to lift themselves. I mean, China just had a weightlifting video back in the day and was really focused on that in a workout vid. Do it. And I mean, in today's society, in today's day and age, I think if you're staying on your path and you're not hurting anyone, just doing you, I think that's wonderful. Really, all it is just that noise. And as Jay-Z once sang, just kick that dirt off your shoulder.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think speaking of everything that you're kicking off your shoulder, you've been kicking ass and taking names. And I got to put out another matchup here. Adriana Fury's coming up. Now, I've seen Adriana Fury do her thing on the Northeast. She's wrestled Chris Caden, who's done something for the Suffolk Wrestling Alliance. Another one who's really been making a mark. I wanted to ask about that match coming up because Adriana is another young talent, a young go hard, if you will. How excited are you for that match?
Yeah, I'm excited. I actually am excited to honestly wrestle any woman that is a wrestler, such as myself, because, a lot of women wrestlers are very hard to find, especially in the area I'm in. I think like more so like, you know, out like, maybe like LA and things like that, it's not as hard. But here, like in New York, I've always had such like I've always been turned down by promotions saying, well, we don't have women wrestlers. And I it's funny because I always thought that with me being trans, it wouldn't be as difficult to be able to wrestle, because I thought that they would just mentally just think like, oh, well, she's a man, so she's gonna wrestle guys. But it's actually not like that. I always get told like, oh, well, we don't want to do intergender wrestling. And so it's always been so hard for me to wrestle, and I love wrestling guys because, I can just be like really tough and, slam around and, bad boy. But so yeah, so I'm really excited, in Upstate Pro Wrestling, we honestly don't really have much of a women's division. And Ariana came back and so we're trying to build up the division and I'm really excited about it. So yeah, I mean she's great. I mean, I look forward to getting in the ring with her. I'm really hoping that we can put on a great show and do some more in the future.
I think another big one that's also coming is DMAC Productions, man. Rebecca Payne, the queen of the death match. And you got a legend in here who I've had on my show in the past from On the Mike with Mike series, the Prodiget Angel Orsini. For those that don't remember Angel Orsini, the original EC dub toward the later years of Extreme Championship Wrestling. Now, how exciting is that to be with a legend like Angel Orsini, the Prodiget, and Rebecca Payne, who's done her thing on the deathmatch side of things, but also is a hell of a doggone talent in her own right.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I actually requested to be able to, do a match like this. I've never done a hardcore match, so I told myself, I want to take things up a notch. I want to be able to, to do it. So, this would be my first hardcore match, and I think that, it's going to be great. Someone that has, a ton of experience and, someone that is an OG. It's an honor. Like I'm excited. Once again, it like takes me back to when I mentioned like wrestling, like, Megan and also Paris, those that have been on television. It just lets me know, okay, well, if I can do a match with someone like OG, ECW, then I got it, so it's just very exciting and I can't wait.
Yes, and I think for me, and I'll mention the New York reference here, folks. So Survivor Series 02, one of the big matches on that card was Trish Stratus and Victoria in a hardcore match. I will say right now, if y'all want to see something that's from Ruthless Aggression era, even go back in old school, but if you want to see a badass one, watch Trish and Victoria from Survivor Series because it was women's hardcore match. There was trash can lids, there was garbage pail shots. This was a lot of plunder down under, if you will. So I can't wait to see how you really shine through in the hardcore division. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of weaponry. We might see some tables, if you will, get that wood. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing this hardcore match.
I know, I'm so excited.
I think that is really what we can always take away from everything from the LFC and everything just in general with professional wrestling, the excitement level to entertain and the thrill of it all in all. And I got to say right now, you threw up a name that you saw there, Miss Bella Madison. Maybe needs to see some Bella Madison and Layla James up here in LFC. I think that'd be a hell of a matchup. You powerhouse is
it's funny that you say that because that was like the person that I thought about when I seen her. I was just like, her and I would do a great match because, we're two busty women and, I think it would be just really like great. I think the fans would love to see it, and I see that she's got some good moves of her own. So I think it would be great.
First of all, this woman being Bella Madison, and I say that the utmost kindness and sincerity and respect, because she's really putting the work in, much like yourself, that we're seeing in professional wrestling. Man, Bella Madison coming out the gate with Hurricane Ranas and power bombs and just taking it down and kicking ass and taking games. I think it would be something. I'll say that personally from looking at both of your works side by side. I think you two would have some great chemistry all in all.
Yeah, it's funny because I mean I'm sure she could relate to this, but like it's funny because so many people when they see me, they don't think I could do certain things in the ring. So it's kind of like they look at me and they're like, "Oh yeah, what is she gonna do?" And I always love like giving people the reaction. They're like, "Whoa," because they don't expect me to do like certain things. Like my dose of Layla, my finisher, that power slam. No one really expects to see me do those things. They don't expect me to be so as athletic as I am. It's just, I love it.
Well, that's the beauty of that move because, like, we talk about the simplicity of the power slam, but I mean, British Bulldog running power slam, Oklahoma Stampede, rest in peace, Dr. Death, Steve Williams. We talked about Road War Animal, that scoop power slam. I mean, we'll be here all day. but there's something just about it that is just, it's a very impactful power slam. I mean, we see all different moves like all over the place, and we get to see a lot of new inventive moves, so to speak. But I think a lot of people don't realize like the importance of like the simple moves. Like when Jake Roberts hit the DDT, you knew it was over. When Shawn Michaels hit the Sweet Chin Music, you knew it was over. When China, equate China, when she would hit you with the pedigree or power bomb in her own right, you knew it was over. So I'm going to say right now, Layla James, when you hit the dose of Layla, you know it's over. So boom.
Yeah.
Back to the finish, man. But no, I think that's wonderful, and I can't wait to see where you continue to progress and shine, because I know it's going to be there. And you repping the latex and doing your thing in lingerie, I know you'll come out looking killer. And another thing I got to mention here too as well, we talk about the overall sex appeal and the voluptuosity factor. Now I know you did have an OnlyFans, and I know a lot of people do as well, that really showcase the community and talking with fans and really socializing and really sexualizing just the overall external beauty factor. But for you, I want to ask you about OnlyFans, because I know you no longer are on OnlyFans. Talk about that situation. Just talk about the OnlyFans experience.
So yeah, so the OnlyFans experience, you know, so a lot of people think that this is like something that people do when they're like in desperate need of money. You know, I wasn't in desperate need of money when I started my OnlyFans. I actually really had a vision to actually be my own boss as doing adult entertainment. And you know, I had this vision where I wanted to actually produce my own stuff. I wanted to like actually invest in all the cameras, the lighting. I wanted to, you know, actually be an entertainer, because you know, I actually enjoyed watching it when I was young. Aside from wrestling, you know, I also was inspired by adult entertainment. And so I've always wanted to do it. And when OnlyFans came about, I was just like, oh wow, you can actually do your own stuff and make money. Um, which was great. You know, I've had people reach out to me before, like in the past, like companies wanting to do stuff, but I just didn't like the idea of like working for someone, because you know, there's certain things that I just don't feel comfortable doing. And you know, I think like when you're in that profession, when you're working for someone, you don't really get to have the choice. I think you just gotta have to do what they say, I'm guessing. So when I found out that OnlyFans was happening, I was just like, you know, this is awesome. So, you know, I did it and it was pretty good. And then I just thought, you know, maybe I shouldn't really do it much, because, you know, it was kind of like a thing where I was trying to keep my wrestling fans with wrestling and my OnlyFans with OnlyFans. And it began to like kind of like clash with each other. And like it was kind of like a thing where like I didn't want my wrestling fans to see me doing, you know, that sort of thing. You know, I wanted them to just see me just wrestle, because I didn't want them to, you know, like, you know, especially like a lot of girls, like little children, you know, I know they look up to me and stuff. And it just, I didn't want their parents to know like, oh well, you know, she's doing this, you know what I mean? So it was kind of, oh sorry, it was kind of just a thing where I just thought personally I didn't want to do it anymore. I had to focus on one. But I have been having thoughts of doing it again, but more so you know, like modeling like lingerie and stuff. And I said to myself, if I were to get involved with the
LFC.
lingerie, yeah, with you guys, that I would get back into it and I would just, you know, model lingerie sets and stuff, because it makes sense to, you know, but I wouldn't do the whole, you know, sexual stuff anymore.
Okay,
So
first and foremost, class, respectful, respectable, and understandable. And I will put it like this, because first and foremost, first of all, I like you even more for saying earlier, just, you know, when you're younger in the adult side and wrestling, I'm right there with you, because a lot of my content is interviewing wrestlers, and I've interviewed people in the adult entertainment industry, and I highly respect that. And also the fact that, you know, what I like about it too as well, it's the DIY, the do-it-yourself mentality. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're in a scene, and mind you, everything that goes into it, from the lights and everything, you're working for someone and it's like, okay, maybe I don't want to do this, and you want your own creativity. I completely understand that. It's creative freedom, and also you want to be your own boss. And what I love about it too as well, there's other means of lucrative that comes from OnlyFans. Like, look at Zelina Vega, right? Like, she does a lot of cosplay stuff on her OnlyFans. There's nothing nude. She's just doing cosplaying. You know what I'm saying? Like, for you, I think that would be wonderful. Just modeling lingerie and doing OnlyFans. I think that really exemplifies a lot of lucrative stuff. But also at the same time, not everything has to be nude. And I think that's the one misconception people have
Yeah,
with OnlyFans.
exactly.
So
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people always think that that's what it's meant for, and really, it's really not. But it's just one of the things that you could use to do that. So, I just, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna revisit that, and like I said, I have the idea of like, doing some lingerie and having exclusive photos where people would only see on my OnlyFans. It's just another platform to promote myself, so I might just do it, so yeah. But as far as like the actual like sex stuff, because I was really actually having sex with people. So I just decided not to do that anymore.
it's
So
understandable. No, I completely.
yeah.
I think
I'm not saying that whoever is doing it now, I'm not saying that they're wrong for doing it, but it's just for me, I just, I'm deciding to move on from it.
no, and that I could, like I said, I completely understand, and that's absolutely respectful. And I think with whatever you do in life, and I'll add on to you because you made a great point here. I think whatever you do in life, just enjoy it and really just apply your craft in amazing fashion, because that's what life is all about. And I think
Yeah.
with you revisiting back to OnlyFans, I think first and foremost, you could do anything your doggone mind could do. I mean, we're talking celebrity boxing, wrestling, OnlyFans. Hey, I want to do LFC. You are a plethora. You are the accoutrement, if you will, going into different crafts. So I can respect that wholeheartedly.
Thank you. I've always been a girl that's been into like everything. Like, I'm a go-getter. I think that's part of being a Gemini, we're go-getters. So like I always have been the person that always wants to just work for myself, grind on my own, and just do my own thing. So that's always been me. So but yeah,
All right. No, and I think what I also love about it too is as well, like we've talked about just you being the wrestler that you are and everything in general here. I think it's amazing just to see because we talk about, LFC, there's so many different body types, there's so many different, what have you with women. And I think that's what's great about a product and combative natures in today's society. And I've even mentioned this to you. I said you would be the first ever, to my knowledge, since I've been around here in 2019, the first ever trans star in an LFC. And I think you fit the mold, ma'am. And I think you would kill it. And I hope it does happen. I hope to see you on a future show.
thank you. And I actually was the first um African American trans woman on the celebrity boxing. And I do believe, to my knowledge, I won a women's championship belt for Thundercade Eclipse Wrestling, which is in PA. And I do believe that I have been the first trans woman to win the women's championship, which I feel like that's a big thing. Um, and the thing is like I really don't like labeling myself as far as like saying, I'm trans, I'm trans, I'm trans. But I am hoping that I inspire a lot of trans women to, open that door into, being, an athlete or do whatever they want to do because I've actually had, several trans women actually message me telling me like, that I'm really brave for doing what I'm doing because there are trans women that want to do what I'm doing, but they're too scared. They're too afraid of the backlash. They're too afraid to just be out there and have all these eyes on them. And so I'm really just hoping to like really open the door for more trans athletes and more girls like me to actually just step up and just live it. Um, so I have thought, maybe I should just be proud, just, calling myself trans because, that is something that, I'm certainly not ashamed of, but I think that it's something that would help other girls to actually like, you know, to step up and do their thing. So
I love that. And I think like we talk about opening up doors, and I think that's the main thing in life. And what I like about it too is as well, there's going to be apprehension with anything that you do. There's always apprehension. But I think if you can get over that hurdle, and you certainly have, and I know a lot of women who you inspire that are inspired by you and have that gravitational pull, I know it will happen. And I think that's what's great about today's society. We see a lot of up and comers, those young go hards, and I'm including you in here, Miss Layla James, those young go hards, the Geminis, the accoutrements, if you will, that really just have such a great attitude and a great mindset of learning the craft and really just exploring many different avenues. I think that's what you have to do. So whether you have, whatever you're going through, know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and know that the journey is worth taking and the destination is going to be wonderful once you get to it, but you'll still keep on your journey, man.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. And folks, I will say this before we do close this out, because let me tell you something, Layla James, you are a very vibrant, wonderful, and beautiful person. I'd love to have you back on for round 2 on this show. You are an absolute speaker.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me. I had such a great time. And I really hope that this video really just, inspires some people, helps them, and, yeah. And hopefully, people will tune in to my upcoming matches coming up. So I'm excited, so.
Well, links will be in the description, folks. Check out Layla James at Battle of Athena against Paris Vandale, IAW against Ariana Fury, DMAC Productions, Rebecca Payne, Angel Orsini. You're going hardcore ECW style. I want to see some chairs. I want to see some tables. Hell, maybe throw out a ladder. Hit them with the dose of Layla, Power Slam style. Oh my goodness. We're revving it up, and I can't wait to see these matches. And go buy a ticket to see some Layla James up close and personal, folks. Get on out there to New York and just every spot in the independent wrestling scene. Support pro wrestling, support independent wrestling, and support this show, and support Lingerie Fighting Championships, because, folks, we're on Tubi now. LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships on Tubi. Tubi TV.
So
T
awesome.
to the UPI. Thank you. I'm going to say this first and foremost, folks. Tubi.tv, you search in the search engine there. It's Lingerie Fighting Championships. Layla, I know you're going to be all up in the mix, checking out some LFC on Tubi and checking out the website, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. We have so many events up there. We have the 2 I ring announced on LFC 35 Booty Camp 3D and 36 Booty Camp 4. LFC 37 Back to the Mansions up there and more LFC events, more to be added. Check out LFCfights.com. Check out LFC Fights on TikTok, fights_LFC on Instagram, and LFC Fights on the Twitter. And speaking of social media, Layla James, where can we follow you all over the social media realms? Because you are all up in the mix on social media, doing your things, strutting, wrestling, training. You're all up in there. Where can we find you?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Miss Layla Bunny. So Layla with an H, LAYLAH, Miss Layla Bunny. And I just started a YouTube. It's Layla James. But if you just search Layla James, which I'm so excited that like videos of me are growing and coming. So if you just search Layla James in YouTube, you'll find quite a few of my matches up. And I don't have a TikTok. I could never, it's so funny. I always like make it. Like I think I went through like 5 different TikToks. I always forget my password, or like I can't seem to get into it. I don't know why. But so all I have right now is just, my Instagram and my YouTube. If you follow the link, you will see that I also have some Layla James merch available. So if you guys are interested in Layla James merch, I have some merch. And my link to my YouTube is there as well. So yeah.
Buy some shirts. I have seen your shirts as well. Very nice. You know what I'm saying? Get you that Layla James merch, which you should. Nice shirts and everything and whatnot. Nice apparel. And I got to say this. I got to ask you about this Layla Bunny thing here. Now, is that like a playoff Lola Bunny with the Space Jam? Is that what we're going for here? I'm just curious. The Layla Bunny.
So, so the Layla Bunny thing, I don't know. It just randomly like just came. I was trying to figure out a name for myself on Instagram, and I didn't want to like just be corny and just, have my whole name like Layla Fisher, so I was just like, I need to think of something. And I think a friend of mine told me, just do Bunny. And then like ever since then I've just always kept, Layla Bunny. And I wanna change it though to Layla James, but then I noticed like when you try to change it, like videos that you have like uploaded, and if someone tagged you, they won't come to you anymore because you changed your name. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't changed it to actual Laylah James, because I don't want to, have people trying to like click on something that's me and then they can't get to it.
Well, I mean, first of all, and I'll tell you why I like it, because it's all in a name, as they say, Layla. So when it comes to like nicknames in LFC, like we have Bella Rebel Princess Madison now, of course, we have Bella Rockefeller, we have Holly Hot Stuff Dunaway, we have Sheena the Hungarian Hurricane Bathory, and so many names. Like, I mean, Laylah Bunny James, I think you'd be the first if we had a bunny. You'd be the first bunny.
Yeah, maybe Laylah Bunny would then I bring the Laylah Bunny for that.
Right. Oh my God! There's all you need is some hopping style, man. Get the hop style, if you will. What's the hops? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You can brand the hops.
I could have little bunny ears with my schoolgirl outfit.
It's like Donnie Darko, but sexy. That's what it is. It's like, oh my goodness, we're manifesting the ideas, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I can't wait to see you in LFC when that day comes. I can't wait to see more of your professional wrestling career and what you got going for you. And do you have any final words to the LFC fans? Do you have any final words to your fans, period, that have been supporting you on this journey since day one?
Yeah, well, for one, thanks again for having me. I'm really excited. Hopefully, I'll be able to experience being in the ring and be in that schoolgirl outfit. We're manifesting it. And I just thank all my fans for, supporting me and being there for me. And yeah, I really am really just hoping that, Laylah James will be the next, big thing. So we'll see.
Have to say, with that next big thing moniker, you're giving Brock Lesnar a run for his money with that moniker. But in all seriousness, I can't wait to see where the journey takes you. And as I always say with this show, folks, life is an art form. We all are applying our crafts. Continue to apply your craft in amazing fashion. And as the title of this show is, it's not just the name of the show, but it is my mindset, folks. Beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Laylah James, Bunny, hop yourself. I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.